It was meant to be just another birthday celebration. Nothing extravagant. Just close friends, family, a few drinks, and laughter as we marked my best friend's 50th year. Simple, familiar, and comforting. But that night, when I finally returned home, everything shifted in ways I couldn't have anticipated. Before I dive in, I have to ask, where are you tuning in from? What corner of the world is holding my story right now? Drop a comment. It means more than you know to see this reach so many hearts. Back to that evening, the house was alive with warmth, the kind that only comes from a gathering of people who've shared decades of memories. The scent of pizza mingled with chatter, laughter, and the faint hum of background music. Every detail felt nostalgic, cozy, like stepping into a memory. Jason, my son, had stayed home as usual. He'd turned 20 last month, and lately, he preferred solitude over social occasions. Even a milestone like a best friend's birthday wasn't enough to draw him out. I didn't think much of it. The party was unfolding smoothly, and I was catching up with familiar faces I hadn't seen in ages. As the evening waned, the energy softened, conversations quieted, laughter dimmed, and the music faded. I felt the tug of home, and the thought of Jason waiting somewhere, probably in front of his game console or lost in thought, pulled me away. Stepping out into the night air, I welcomed the cool breeze. Sliding into my car, it felt like an ordinary, predictable moment. But I was about to discover that ordinary had just ended. At home, silence greeted me. Too quiet for a Saturday night. I moved through the living room expecting Jason in his usual spot on the couch, but a faint glow from his room caught my attention. His door was slightly ajar. I knocked softly. "Jason?" He was at his desk back to me, but he turned when he heard my voice. His expression brightened with a hesitant smile, one that seemed almost out of place given his usual reserved demeanor. "Hey, Mom," he said warmly, yet there was something in his eyes, a weight, a depth that made me pause. "What's up, sweetie?" I asked, leaning against the doorframe, sensing the night had shifted in some subtle, undeniable way. He hesitated, fidgeting with his hands before meeting my gaze. "Just thinking," he murmured. "Thinking about what?" I pressed gently, my heartbeat quickening. He exhaled slowly. "About you." That simple declaration made my pulse skip. "About me?" I stepped closer, seeking clarity. "Yes," he said, eyes shifting as if searching for the words he needed. "I've been thinking about everything you've done for me, how you've always been there, how I never truly thanked you. I guess I've been taking it for granted." A lump formed in my throat. "Jason, you don't need to thank me. I'm your mom," I whispered. "No, Mom," he insisted, voice catching. "You don't understand. I've been selfish. I need to say this now. I can't keep living the way I have. I need to change. I want to be better, the person I should be." I blinked, stunned. He had always been guarded, but now he was open. Vulnerable, raw, entirely human. My chest tightened, the room seeming smaller as I took a slow step toward him. "What do you mean?" I asked softly, needing him to continue. He held my gaze, his voice steady but tender. "Mom, I've always felt like I had to be someone else, like I wasn't enough. But tonight it hit me. I am enough. And I need to make sure I live for the right reasons, for myself, not for anyone else." I stood there, absorbing his words. Pride swelled in my chest, but alongside it came a strange, bittersweet sense of loss. He was stepping into his own life, becoming the man he was meant to be, one who no longer relied on me as he once had. And then, as if sensing the shift in the air, he added something that unsettled me completely. "I think I've been holding on to things I shouldn't. I feel like I owe you more than words can express, but I don't know how to say it." I walked closer, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Jason, we can talk through it. I'm here." He exhaled, fragile and open. "I guess I've been clinging to the idea that we'll always be the same. But we're not, are we?" In that moment I realized just how much he'd grown. My son was stepping into independence, facing life on his terms. I felt proud and vulnerable all at once, witnessing the transformation of the boy I'd raised into a man who could be real with me. "Things will change," I said, my voice firm yet gentle. "But I'll always be here. We'll keep learning together." He nodded. "Thanks, Mom." The weight of those words lingered. The room seemed charged with possibility, a quiet hum that promised transformation, honesty, and growth. That night, everything shifted. Things will change, I said, my voice firm yet gentle. But that doesn't mean I won't be here. We'll navigate it together. He nodded, a quiet determination settling over him. Thanks, Mom. The silence that followed wasn't heavy. It was expectant, the kind of quiet that holds possibilities, the moment just before life shifts in a profound way. That night marked the start of a transformation, not just for Jason, but for me as well. In the days that followed, our conversations became deeper. Gone were the surface-level exchanges that skimmed over feelings. We talked about our fears, our dreams, the things we'd never said aloud. It was as if we were rebuilding our relationship, but this time on honest ground. Jason was opening up in ways he never had before, and I found myself doing the same. One afternoon, I found him in the kitchen, humming softly as he made a sandwich. It was a small thing, but the sound caught me off guard. You never used to hum, I said, leaning against the doorway. What changed? He paused, a small grin spreading across his face. I've learned to enjoy the little moments. You taught me that. My eyes widened. Me? I taught you that? He nodded. Yeah, life isn't just about big achievements. It's about moments like this. Just being here with you. That's enough. My chest tightened with pride. Jason wasn't just talking about himself, he was reminding me too. I had spent years shaping my life around roles, mother, wife, friend, without pausing to just be Rebecca. I never realized it, I whispered. But you're right. It's okay to stop trying to be everything for everyone. We just have to be ourselves. For the first time in years, clarity settled over me like a fog lifting. I remembered who I was before the weight of responsibility, before the constant need to protect and provide. I could simply be Rebecca, and that was enough. I walked over and rested a hand on his shoulder. The silence between us felt natural, comfortable, and safe. I'm proud of you, Jason, I said, my voice thick with emotion. The man you're becoming is incredible. He smiled softly. And I'm proud of you, Mom, for finally finding yourself too. His words struck deeper than I expected. I had been waiting unknowingly for this acknowledgement. Now I could finally see the woman I had become, separate from the roles I played. I think we've come a long way, I said gently, and we still have more to learn. Jason's eyes held quiet understanding. Yeah, but I'm okay with that, as long as we keep moving forward. That night, as I reflected before bed, I realized the past no longer had a hold over us. The only thing that mattered was the present, the choices we made now. And together, we would forge a new path, stronger, closer, more honest. The days that followed felt lighter. I began carving out moments for myself, painting, reading, walking, breathing. I no longer needed validation from anyone. Jason, too, was finding his rhythm, living life on his terms, free from expectations. Change wasn't easy. Doubts lingered, the pull of old patterns tempting us backward. Yet we kept moving forward. Each conversation, each shared laugh, each silent moment became part of a new foundation. Sometimes, it's the smallest moments that transform everything. A shared glance, a whispered word, a realization that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be real. That night, after all the words and confessions, I felt a gentle peace. Jason no longer needed me in the way he once did, and I no longer needed to lose myself in him. We had become something new, together, yet independent. And that, I realized, was the greatest gift of all. Things will change, I said, my voice firm yet gentle. But that doesn't mean I won't be here. We'll navigate it together. He nodded, a quiet determination settling over him. Thanks, Mom. From that night on, the rhythm of our relationship shifted. Our conversations grew deeper and more genuine. We no longer skated over feelings or hid behind polite exchanges. We shared fears, dreams, regrets, and hopes, things we hadn't voiced in years. It felt as if we were rebuilding our bond from the ground up, but with honesty as the foundation. One afternoon, I found Jason humming softly while making a sandwich. A small, ordinary moment, yet the sound brought unexpected warmth to my chest. You never used to hum, I said, leaning against the doorframe. What changed? He paused, smiling softly. I've learned to appreciate the small things. You taught me that. You taught me that? I asked, surprised. He nodded. Yeah. Life isn't just about big achievements. It's the little moments like this. Just being here with you, that's enough. Pride and love swelled in me. His words were more than about him, they were a mirror for me too. I realized how long I had neglected myself, living in roles I thought were expected of me. For the first time in years, I could simply be Rebecca, and that was enough. I stepped forward, placing a hand on his shoulder. Silence stretched between us, but it was warm, safe, and necessary. "I'm proud of you, Jason," I said softly. "The man you're becoming is incredible." He looked at me, eyes soft and understanding. "And I'm proud of you, Mom, for finding yourself too." Hearing him acknowledge my growth struck me deeply. I realized I had been waiting, unknowingly, for this. Now I could finally see the woman I had become, outside of my roles as mother, wife, or friend. "I think we've come a long way," I said gently, "and there's still more for us to learn." Jason nodded, calm and accepting. "Yeah, but I'm okay with that, as long as we keep moving forward." That night, as I lay in bed, I thought about the past, the times I clung to what used to be, the weight of old patterns, and the fear of change. But Jason's words lingered, and I realized that the past was gone. What mattered was the present, and together we could create something new, something honest, and something better. The days that followed felt lighter. I began carving out space for myself, painting, reading, walking, breathing. I no longer needed validation from anyone. Jason, too, was finding his rhythm, living life on his terms. Change wasn't always easy. Doubts and old habits still crept in, but every conversation, shared laugh, and silent glance strengthened our bond. Each moment became a building block for a relationship founded on authenticity and love. Sometimes it's the smallest moments that alter everything: a glance, a word, or the realization that perfection isn't required. You only need to be yourself. That night, after all the words and confessions, a sense of peace settled over me. Jason was no longer the boy who depended on me, and I was no longer the woman lost in his needs. We had become something new, together yet independent, and in that I realized the greatest gift of all: the freedom to grow, the courage to be ourselves, and the love that remains constant through it all.